We flew into Queenstown around 8 AM to get to Wanaka, where I like to stay at my friend's place. For those of you who are not from New Zealand, both Queenstown and Wanaka are tourist destinations, which are pretty hard to find accommodation for, as they can be booked out for months. This year is going to be the year of trips for me, where I'll be testing out new gear, including this backpack that my partner got me as an early birthday gift. With currently 10 trips planned, which is almost one a month, I will be doing a number of these trip videos coming up. I loaded my bag with a new Canon 7, which was also a birthday gift. My favorite camera, my Canon F1, which I loaded with Aero Chrome. My Canon 7 had Santar Color 100 in it, which is otherwise known as Aero Color IV. And I also took with me my medium format beast, my RB67, with 220 backs. One of the backs had Rollei's Infrared, which is one of my favorite black and white stocks, and a roll of expired Ektar 100, which had been fridged before I bought it, so it seems to be in good condition. Once we arrived in Queenstown, we went for a long drive up and through the Crown Ranges. They have some epic shots to take photos. We were in luck, as the day would be reasonably sunny, with only a scattering of cloud, meaning I could shoot some gorgeous shots on both colour, film and infrared. We arrived at my favourite spot to take photos, where in the distance you can see Queenstown perched in between two sets of mountain chains. I set up my RB67 on a tripod whilst having the Canon 7 around my neck, switching between the two cameras, but also switching between the two film backs, one containing the Ektar and the other containing the infrared. I lined up my shot and showed my friend and her sister how this camera works and what I was trying to achieve. This was also my first time using the RB to shoot infrared, which I'd previously used on my Minolta and my Mamiya 645. Usually I don't like clouds in my photos, but this shot worked nicely. I've never been up so high before when shooting infrared. It is really a different experience. With the next shot, I wanted to do a comparison between the three stocks. With the Rollei, I really liked the pronounced shadows on the mountain side, especially the ones that kind of look like eagles. As you can see with the Ektar, the shadow is way less pronounced. My scanner did scan this a bit blue, but I like the colours overall. With the Canon 7, the focal distance is different, but I really do love the level of detail with Aero Color. It is really a great landscape film. I tried to get this cute shot of my partner using the camera, but I'm unsure what happened here. I think my camera strap got in the way. Last year, I took a photo at this spot, and now that I know a lot more about film, I wanted to take this shot of the spot again. I think when I took the photo last time, I shot Sin Still 50D on my Minolta, which was one of my favourite photos from that roll, but I wanted to see if I could do better. I wasn't a big fan of this shot, as it was hard to see the road in the infrared. However, in colour on Ektar, the photos came out really well, with my framing and positioning near spot on. I also like this more close-up shot on the Canon 7 with the little car in view on the road. It was at this point that disaster struck on my trip. My beloved Canon F1 decided to betray me and jammed up and would not fire. We went to the local camera store in Wanaka, where I used a dark bag to remove my half-shot roll of aerochrome. As you can see by these pictures I took with my phone, that the shutter curtain is jammed. Currently I have this in the shop, so hopefully it will be fixed and I can try take some photos of aerochrome with it again another time. Just before we left, I took this very layered photo that I quite enjoy and want to take more photos like it. Before we left to go on our journey up the Crown Ranges, we stopped by this fried chicken place, which had these awesome posters and a cool aesthetic. With these two photos, I discovered that at 160 and below shutter speed, that my camera light leaks from the front. Before arriving at my friend's place in Lake Harawira, I decided to take a few photos of the lake. I really dig this one with the Canadian cabin vibes, or this one just along the lake. So my friend had to go to her work, but before she left us in Wanaka to explore, we stopped off at this food truck area and got ourselves some dinner. You can send this to someone when they say, send nudes. We went for a walk into town. I had already used up most of the Ultramax in this Mamiya before the trip, which I wasn't supposed to, which I then had to load in with a spare roll of Kodak Max, its predecessor to the Ultra, which had been frozen for years.
Not really, the thing should bring itself into alignment. It'll pop up the little things and lock it in. So generally it's going to be fine if you just do it yourself. Okay, so we've lined it up, popped it in.
We came across this Freemason building with some rather Big Brother vibes that I knew I had to get a shot of. This photo I quite dig, as it has kind of Wes Anderson vibes. Likewise with this one as well, though I wish I had a polarizer on so I could get the glare out of the window. I saw this beautiful car on the streets earlier in the day, so when I saw it I knew I had to get a shot. However, the rear shot is way better. For this one I was going for a 90s modernist magazine kind of vibe. Even though the sunset was very cloudy by this time of the day, I think I got some really great snaps. After getting away from the windy shore, we headed back into the township to get some ice cream and relax for the evening, as we had a big day the next day. We got up early the next day to go to the picturesque Blue Pools. On the way there, I saw a Porsche that I knew I had to add to my photo collection. I also spotted this bus stop near on by. Not too sure if either of these images worked. Unlike America or Britain, our buses in New Zealand don't really look iconic as they once did. We then went for an hour-long car ride to the Blue Pools, hoping it would not rain on us there. As you can see by the stormy clouds, this really would not be the case.
Come on, I'm in an extra too. They can go better than that.
We stopped at this point where my friend said I should take a photo. I took a few with different exposures and apertures, trying to get a really cool long exposure. At about the halfway point, we found this stop, and I saw this cone sitting on the bench and thought this would make an interesting photo. But as you can see, not really. However, that being said, the two photos I took on the motel, on the other hand, look eerily cool. As it started to rain as we got nearer to the pools, we continued, anyway, hoping it would clear. When we arrived, it had indeed cleared, apart from a light drizzle. We began our hike going in and out of the forest, walking along the path that was adjacent to the river. We got to this clearing where I decided now was a good time, if ever, to try take a photo of the mountaintop. I was really vibing the three mountains with their hilltops sitting aligned, each one towering over the other, with them fading into the fog, perched in between the two forest hillsides, with the path semi-pointing towards this. I can't remember if I shot this in infrared with the filter on or just as a standard black and white. As my friend was walking away, I realized that her and her daughter's outfit stood out, so I took a shot in color as well. We then continued walking through where we came across this cool wooden path that I decided I had to take a photo of. And when we got to the bridge, I knew I could take a photo like the one before of my friend, where their yellow jacket would stand out. Talking of that bridge, real fun walking on a swinging bridge on a rainy day with a lot of expensive camera gear. I did manage to get this shot of the blue pools, which I quite enjoyed, even with the light leaks. There was supposed to be an infrared shot, but for some reason it came out blank. After trudging our way back to the car, we found a cafe to eat at, where we could dry off right next to a huge log fire. We then drove back to my friend's place, stopping on the way to create these two photos that are some of my favorites. After getting back to my friend's house and drying off and getting a change of clothes, we headed out to Wanaka's lavender farm. Originally my plan was to shoot a lot of aerochrome here, along with a number of aerochrome shots at the blue pools. By this point, I was only on my last few shots of both Ektar 100 and Rollei Infrared, so I decided that my plan of shooting a sunset with both was unlikely due to weather. So it was best just to use up the rest of the film on the farm, which had plenty of places that would be interesting to photograph. My favourite object to shoot here that a lot of people come on by to see is the iconic purple door. It sits between a row of lavender fields and feels like it's out of a fantasy film. The last time that I shot this door, I wasn't very fond of the photo, so I wanted to do one better. And for me, it was, even with the clouds. Usually, I'm not a fan of people in my photos, but the lady in the red would not disappear, and her red outfit stuck out in a cool way, so I decided to shoot this shot. And as much as I like the previous image, this black and white version is even better. The way infrared makes the lavender look all spiky and threatening is a cool aura, and the door looks striking in white, making it stand out way more in this image. I actually took the next photos first, as I thought with the blue sky this would look way better, but because the sun was on the other side, I was wrong. I'm not too sure about this shot. Got the flag nicely, but I think it was the wrong framing and camera and wrong light. I want to come back next year and shoot this place with aerochrome, as there are so many interesting spots. I almost took a picture here earlier, but the clouds would not work in the black and white infrared. But I want to come back and shoot it again. I reckon the aerochrome would look amazing with the purple flowers of the lavender, possibly going into really odd colours with the change of the green into other colours. After the lavender farm, we decided to try this fusion restaurant in the town that my friend said was really good. It had this cute photo wall filled with Instax pictures. We ordered some food that we chowed down, as by this point we were quite hungry. By this point we were all out of film, and seeing as we'd given up on shooting a sunset, we decided to go to the local movie theatre and watch whatever big budget movie there was to wind down to. Perfect timing being that John Wick Chapter 4 was in theatres. This really was a charming cinema, with posters of a lot of my favourite films across the wall, and a photography favourite, Kodak. This cinema still has a halftime show where you can have either a meal or cookies. After the movies, we met up with my friend and she took us to a spot where you can see the Milky Way clearly. Unfortunately, I had no film by this point and my phone doesn't do night sky photos well. We then went on our way back to Queenstown across the Crown Ranges, where I shot the very last photo that we had on us of the iconic Cardrona Hotel. It was a pretty scenic and easy ride back home. The only thing that really sucked about returning home was the best weather had to be on the day that we were leaving, but that is often a given. We boarded the plane, and it was a rather easy ride back home, considering we were surrounded by young families with young children on the flight, but it was rather peaceful, that being said. After we arrived and got back home, we decided to head out for the second day of the Cuba Duper Festival, which takes place every year in the centre of Wellington, where we could get some food and do some more festival photos. Before we took any photos, we had to order food, as we were both hungry, and on my trip, I'd had a few camera issues, so I needed a pick-me-up. I took a snap of a local shop I've taken a photo of before that you can see on my Insta, that the owner ordered a print of that's better than this photo. I had a semi-cool shot of this ice cream shop stand at the last festival and decided to take another, but this time I wanted something a little bit more magical. With most of the event down Cuba Street, we trudged along trying to find cool things to shoot, and then mess up like this nice out of focus shot. Came along this chill vibe looking dude playing piano, and it framed well with the decoration above. These guys for sure had the best costume. Cuba Deeper has heaps of stages, and I do love a good crowd shot and a stage shot. My partner wanted an oyster fritter, so we got one from this store. I also saw another old car to add to my old car collection. Whilst I was waiting in line for some food, this massive marching procession came towards me. So after walking the whole of Cuba Street, we were tired and decided to head home and rest after such a busy weekend. Until next time, it's been real, guys.